Well, I guess it's time to start. Um, if you are joining me already or later today, when you get back and watch it on the VOD, if anyone would do such a thing, welcome to the first ever Apex Legends Boomtown Scrims. That is the ALBS. And oh my god, are we going to be spilling a lot of BS today? I'm your host on this particular B streamcast, Cypher0, and I am all decked out in the typical gear that I usually am. So let us begin and let's try to have ourselves a good time. As the lobby begins to fill up, we can see that people are actually showing up on time, which is usually a good start. That is fantastic. But before we get into the details of all the stuff that's going to be going down today, we have to set up the story. For those of you who don't know, this was a pipe dream from a little while ago where Boom's community wanted to set up a sort of, how do I say, entry-level competitive setting. As you know, pros scrim all the time, just to get a feel for different comps, to get a feel for new maps, get a feel for weapons, just to general try different strategies. And that is largely inaccessible to the rest of us. You're not about to get an invite to pro scrims most of the time. Most of the customs you're going to join are not typically of the competitive variety. We aim to change that. We aim to give players like yourselves the after school chops, the post-work dads and moms, the homemakers that have just put their kids to sleep but want to play the game in a little more serious way, and rank just isn't quite doing it. Welcome, welcome. This is what we're all about, and we are going to hit some stuff today. Let us begin with Broken Moon. This is not a map that is currently played in competitive, but we will be doing it today, so it should be fairly interesting. As we can see here, Boom's own team, Play My Knock, gonna be landing in the underpass. Right next to them, in my opinion, one of our sleeper teams, Boom's LFS. And I will say their name a few times today. It's little fuck shits. There's a long story behind that, but we're going to try and keep it as family friendly as possible. So it's just going to be LFS. I haven't even got to fancy the logo. And you cannot see my cursor, so let me fix that. Capture cursor. Thank you. Haha. As we move just down to the south of them, one of my favorite teams. This is Unstopped 27's team, Tony Hawk Tua. Yes, that's right. The meme has made its way into Apex. I know I'm a little bit late because I'm a boomer, but nevertheless, we're going to be dealing with a old school skater Tua. All right, next to that, our actual tournament organizer, Lonk's team, Meow, gonna be right next to them. To the northeast, we've got G-Spot sitting on Cultivation. I've had the joy of talking to and playing against this wonderful team. I know it was just one time. I still maintain that we didn't know we third-partied you. But nevertheless, they're good players. This quadrant of the map, ladies and gentlemen, stacked. Yeah, down here, I'm going to only read it, even though it's not politically correct. But this is their name. So, the Squinty Squad, formerly known as Costco Croissants. This is In Mooncakes or Moon's team. Another sleeper squad to be very concerned about. As we shift up over to the east middle of the map, we've got the Triumvir. I'm assuming that means triumvirate. I'm not really sure. I'll have to talk to Jordan at some point. Jordan's team right here. Oh, wow. We're already in character selection, so I'm going to continue that coverage later. Oh, connection issues. Okay. I did not know. What the hell? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not realize we were already starting, but I guess we be starting. Well, I don't know if this is actually gonna be. Oh, we're on Kings Canyon. We're not actually starting, but we can get some tests in. Players are gonna be going ahead and dropping, and we can see we've got a nice little map overlay here. But anyway, actually, you know what? If this is just testing, I am gonna go ahead and go back to covering map changes or the map situation. Got Triumvirate, that's Jordan's team. You know, your friendly neighborhood crypto. To the north, we have Order of the Phoenix. That is Ginny Weasley's team. Another good team, one to look out for. And as we shift our way back over onto the northwest, oh, that is not what I wanted to do. So we shift our way back over to the northwest. We have Los Chicos del Ponyrosa. Cute little logo there. But Broken Moon is much like the other two competitive maps, due to the new changes. It's all about rotations. You know, what you're going to find in scrims and just in higher level play in general, you know, we're not run-of-the-mill ranked here. You're not trying to get a bunch of kills. You're not trying to do something stupid. You're not trying to full send the team. You're trying to play for position. You're trying to get into that end game. And, you know, I think some people kind of miss that point sometimes. So that is going to be it because we are on an abbreviated schedule since we are just going to be doing stuff right now, getting right into it. But let's go in and try to get on some of the action. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Was getting some clarification on what exactly was going on. That was just a server test. So we are going to continue to get ready for this, and I will be back with you shortly as I try to figure out exactly what our next steps are. Yeah, Lonk, I am I'm pretty much ready. I'm just making some adjustments because doing that practice run actually created stats for the tournament, so I got to go and delete the scores. So okay, 7 minutes sounds good. No, it's complete. It's completely fine. It's completely fine. Sounds good. Let's see. Time that's it. So yeah, we're probably waiting another 5 minutes before the game starts. So in that time, I will be just making some technical adjustments. You guys are free to sit tight, and we will go from there. Apologies for the. It's not quite all set up, but we will have it figured out shortly. Well, this is what the scoreboard's gonna look like when we get our technical issues resolved. So if you're still here, thank you for your patience as the lobby continues to fill up. These stats should reset, so we'll see how that goes. But we did do a test run if you're just joining us, and people did kill each other, so there are scores generated. But we shall see how this goes. We are continuing to work out the finer details as we're waiting probably another, at most, 10 minutes before we get the game going. So sit tight and, go watch more entertaining people for the time being, because not much going on as I continue to resolve issues. I do have a second laptop here for stats and map stuff. So we will talk to you real soon. Okay, then. Looks like we are just about getting ready to go as the final team sneaks in here. Let's see here. Last team, Team 16. We're trying to find a sub for Team 11. Team 16. And go. All right, let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official B streamcast of the first ever Apex Legends Boomtown Scrims. That is the ALBS. And as I said the first time, and I'm going to tell you again, you are going to be hearing a whole lot of BS on this channel. Thank you for joining. We're going to have a great time. The A stream is at Boomrazzle on Twitch TV. I think he also streams on YouTube. And Ted Danson's Ghost is the watch party, or as I like to call the A stream. On this channel, we're mostly going to try and keep stats. We're going to give you a little bit of analysis, and we're just going to kind of commentate the game. We're off to a little bit of a messy start, but it is okay, because since when was life ever orderly and wonderful? But while we're waiting, let me go ahead and give you, if I can find it, a quick overview of our first map. And our first map is going to be Storm Point. And here is your POI map for that. The man himself, Mr. Boomrazzle, gonna be taking this middle section of the map that I forget, formerly Prowler Island. I want to say it's some Cedo Station. Is team number 17 in the lobby, as you can see, and called Play My Knock, which, you know, just I don't know if his team's ever going to get knocked down, but we will see. My friends over in Boom's Little Fuck Shits, I'm going to call them LFS for most of this tournament, gonna be taking this little POI right down here. They are, in my opinion, the dark horse of the tournament, or the second favorites, really. They're not quite the dark horse. And that is if Georgie's internet, which he is playing on mobile data, manages to hold up. Over in the far north, we're going to have Triumvirate on Watson's Pylon. This is Jordan's team, your friendly neighborhood crypto. Really, really strong team in their own right. Ginny Weasley's team right next to them in Elrod. Order the Phoenix Kit here. Gonna have to be a little bit careful and to make sure they loot quickly and get moving. We shift just down here to the station, and Meow or Lonk, our host team, are gonna be in good setup right by Cliffside, Hilltop Cliff, or Cliffside Station, Cliffside Outpost, and gonna have great rotates throughout the middle eastern part of the map. As we shift back over to the west, one of my personal favorite teams, G-Spot, landing on FTA's very own home turf on Storm Point, and that is the Mill. Rotations are super key on Storm Point. A lot of chokes, although there are lots of options as well. Storm Point is categorized by being very, very large with tons of elevation changes and a lot of layering on the POIs. End rings look to be extremely difficult if you are out of position. So teams are going to want to rotate early and not get into fights if at all possible. Of course, we do have a couple of contests on Storm Point, and Tony Octua and Dad & Co. are going to be on C-Note Cave. And down here on Echo HQ, we're going to have Smelanoma and Clickbait. So we are going to have, most likely, instant action for you all to watch. As we are getting ready here, I'm going to put that away, and we will just wait for the game to get started. And the official game one has kicked off as people begin to move around and take their drop spots. In just a minute, we will be shifting over to a couple of POVs where we can see the first contest of this map. One of our contests is going to be here, right here on C Note, as both teams seem to have managed to somehow come to an agreement to not land on the same part of the POI. It does look like Tony Hawk Tua, oops, is going to be on the south side of this POI. They're just going to get looted up and get ready to move in for likely a fight. We are actually going to go straight to some action that is happening right away here on Echo HQ. Got a tuk-tuk and a PK. Not a bad loadout to open, but gonna switch out to the 301. Just a generally more consistent weapon for most people, and already 100 damage. So I apologize for missing that. Couple of good shots going out. Looks like there is just a little bit of hesitation in some of this fight taking, and a third party will be coming in shortly. So, team down below, gotta be a little bit careful here. There's a little bit of hesitation, and does look like the other team's gonna be moving away. Alicat's team going to be coming in for the third party. And it looks like they're just going to clean up on the looting for the time being. Guys, this is the difference between scrims and your average run-of-the-mill ranked. People are going to be a little bit more tentative. Placement matters a lot here. And you can see, even though teams are stacked on top of each other, there is a little bit of avoidance for combat. When every single point actually matters, it actually adds up, and you are trying to play for placement, and there's a limited number of games, you really can't afford to be going down early. So you are going to see people just try to play it for position. That is my favorite part about competitive. That is my favorite part about scrims. At least when people take it seriously. But let us move over to an actual fight that's happening. Like just some light poking, still no commits. But if we go over to C Note, we do have some knocks going down. Unstopped, going to be getting picked up, as I believe they've gotten a kill already. Lifeline, likely going to be a popular pick in the current meta. And we've got Rob the Dead taking some damage. And Unstopped going to have to try and clutch it out for his team here. He's got 2 down. It's going to be a 1v1. Lifeline also going to go down, as they are going to get cleaned up, unfortunately, for Unstopped's team. That is it for Tony Hawk Tua in this game. Fortunately, going to be able to pick up banners and just try to get to ring, very likely. But we already have a leader with 3 kills. That is 3 points. Rika gonna be the one to clutch it out. As we move over here, we have the Squinty Squad. Gonna be trying to play it up against Nacho's team. And another team that has a substitute. Nacho Tyler was a free agent registered, and they had just joined. And we are just going to be dealing with a little bit of cleanup duty on the Prowlers. Wow, there is a lot of action going on a lot earlier than I expected.
extended light mag.
Over here, we have fan favorite Super Saiyan Legend, whose team is currently engaged with is that Jibby's Goon Squad? Yes, they are fighting Jibby's Goon Squad. Fuse, also another popular pick in the current meta, just for purely poking potential. This is Triumvirate. Here's your team captain, Jordan. And that is a big crypto alt. Crypto is very strong at dealing with this stuff. Gonna be able to knock one very early as he hits a bat. Fuse with the nade spam. Gonna be able to deal with some of this. It does look like it's come down to a... Oh, they got to reset off. Sand's going to go down, but Juvo able to get the cleanup. That is 2 down. It is just 1 left on the... Oh my goodness, that was a little messier than expected, but it does look like they are going to be able to get the squad wipe and reset and get ready to rotate out of here. Elsewhere, we are having a standoff that's going to turn into a 3-way engagement as the little fuck shits in a little bit of trouble being surrounded. But they're going to get a knock, or someone else got the knock, and they should be okay from a positioning standpoint. Hank going to take a bunch of damage. See if he can recover just a little bit here. See your ult goes out. It's good. Makes it a little harder to push, or people a little bit more hesitant to do so. As it does look like the standoff is just going to come to a little bit of a halt. Currently, we have 17 teams remaining, and little fuck shit's gonna say, you know what? We've got some KP. Let's get out of here. Elsewhere, we have Chamonix, or Chamomile Tea, as you may know him from Boom Razzle's chat, having gone down. Oops. That is not what I meant to do. I apologize. As there are 3 teams here. Another one going to go down. And we will see if Lifeline can clutch it out. That is an unfortunate bug. And they're going to be swung around and taken out by the Squinty Squad. Squinty Squad on a little bit of tear right now, I believe. They have, looks like, 4 kills. As we take a look at the map, they've got not too far of a rotate going, but they are going to say, we are out of here. Going up the spider cave, not a bad move. Just gonna check in at the bottom of Cliffside Outpost, where there is some action going on. Triple take shots at the tournament organizer herself, Lonk, coming from Team 10. And Lonk actually going to go ahead and go down because they are just in the middle of 3 teams. This is not a good spot to be. That is an unfortunate time to be rotating through a choke point. And through low ground, nevertheless. Or nonetheless. It looks like we are going to have a team eliminated. Lonk's team is just out of here. Let's move in to some more of the action. As Moon's team gonna be facing off right now. Moon himself is down. And they are gonna be able to wipe out their opponents and get a reset as well. LFS here, going to be sieging some teams at the edge of ring. They've got about 40 seconds before they have to move. Ring 3 going to be the first ring that actually deals real amounts of damage that you have to worry about and look out for, certainly. Inventory management, also ever so important. As you see Hank drop a couple of syringes. I'm assuming he has a ton more than that. And Hank somehow with a sentinel right now instead of a longbow. This man, one of the deadliest people that I know and play with a longbow in his hands. So take a quick look at the map. You can see a bunch of teams stuck north on this middle-ish rotation. Middle northeast rotation. And it is going to be an absolute nightmare coming up on that hillside from Stormcatcher. We are going to see a ton of chaos and a lot of people be eliminated very quickly through here. This area I'm talking about, it's the entry to Command Center as they try to wrap around to the east to get up to the hill. I believe this is third party in it who are in a little bit of a pickle as they try to recover. Alleycat gonna go down for the moment. And I would like to tell you who's sieging them, but it's gonna be everyone up this hill, ladies and gentlemen. There is not much you are gonna be able to do about that. LFS also in a little bit of trouble, even though they are going to be trying to suppress and get some KP as they are at the bottom of the hill. The zone rotating a little bit away from these people. And keep in mind that smaller circle with the dotted outline in white is going to be the next ring. Players, unless they have a ring scan legend, formerly called Defender, will not have access to that information like we do. But we have the privilege of being spectators, so we are just going to go ahead and know that it is going to be out in the open. And it appears that Jack the Surfer and his team are going to be well aware of that and gonna play for that end zone. Eight squads remaining as Ring 4 prepares to close. Not bad shots coming from Hank as he takes a knock on Alleycat. Third party in it in just all sorts of trouble as they've got 2 people broken and down to pretty low health. Cab just gonna be able to get a bat off, and so will Ryzen. But still, this is very bad. Ring 4 is gonna deal a ton of damage, and they really don't have a way out. The Pathfinder ult just went out earlier, so they're not gonna have that at their disposal. Will they be able to get out from the continued Fuse siege? We shall see. And the Fuse ult lands! Ticking for 35, and this may well be over, ladies and gentlemen. We will stick to this action for now, even though there are other things going on. Just because we are about to see a team likely get eliminated one way or the other. Rising gonna die from a ring tick. Alleycat gets knocked, and that is it for 3PI. LFS going to be able to reset and just barely get into ring, and they will be just fine going into the next encounters. They are taking some siege from the teams on top of Stormcatcher, though. Or bottom of Lightning Rod, more accurately. How is LFS going to get out of this one? Because this team is Boom Razzle, Sappy, and Alley Oop, if I'm not mistaken, for Play My Knock, team number 17. Some shots are going out, but a Fuse ult comes down. Fuse ult, very good for not only dealing damage, but mainly to cut off teams from each other. Separating teams with the flares, which deal a great amount of damage, but also the slow, and also a visibility problem. Not only are you unable to see through fire, but you are highlighted by that ring. Wingman shots going out. Grom's G-spot going to go down to a PK shot. Brilliant shots. Wow. That happened so fast I couldn't even find words in time. And that is not something someone like me can say with the nickname of Motormouth at times. Elsewhere, LFS moving into the ring and trying to hold position right now. Fuse ult go out, and Fuse can be done by Fuse? Yes. Fuse gonna go down to a different Fuse ult as Super Sand legend Aaron himself going to be coming in for the cleanup duty. It is just a massacre inside, or just outside this final zone. Down to the last 3 squads, and not all of them are full. As Bruce, or Sinner, going to be the last one standing from LFS, and LFS is going to go down. It is going to be a 2-on-2 between Triumvirate and Boom Razzle's team, Play My Knock. Both teams with a reasonable chance to take this. Both teams are in zone. I would say Triumvirate has a little bit of an advantage with the crypto play and the high ground here. And Fuse ability to siege is going to prove absolutely invaluable from this position. And it is actually a 3v2, as it looks like Sappy was eliminated from the game. Catalyst walls goes out. Pretty good for holding out some visibility. But the question is it going to be too little too late? It is a 3v1, ladies and gentlemen. Triumvirate going to be in position. And Boom Razzle going to be eliminated. Your champion of game number 1 going to be Triumvirate, as they take game number 1 on Storm Point. Take a look at the score. And Triumvirate with an absolutely bomber game. They drop 13 kills and the 12 placement points of first place. Gonna give them 25. 25, guys, that is a monster opening. So let's very quickly talk about this score, because it is quite the bomb. Team 17 coming in with second place for placements and points. I think that's 18. Not bad at all. And here you can see with team number 4 in 4th place what the importance of placement is in ALGS style scoring. Having the second most kills with 12, and they are still in 4th place with 14 points. And that is just the way the cookie crumbles. Rounding out the top 5, going to be... I just cannot read. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. My eyes aren't what they used to be. Going to be team number 16, who I believe is Squinty's, or no, sorry, I think that's Dad and Co., who won the early contest on C-Note. They come out with 7 kills and end up with a good amount of placement points as well. 4 points for 11 total. But let us just continue to talk for a second about team number 1. We didn't really get a ton of coverage on them. We were just trying to figure things out. But man, being able to shift over to the game-winning position and play crypto with a fuse and just be able to hold that high ground on teams coming in and getting free kills is absolutely huge. And that is how you win competitive. 25 points is absolutely insane, guys. I don't think I can explain to you the level of difficulty that is, or that entails with the level of players that are in this lobby. And as we hit the character select screen, we are going to get ready for game number 2, still on Storm Point. Players are loading in, and we will get ready to resume our coverage.
Respawn beacon there.
As the teams go ahead and hit their designated drop spots, we can immediately go and try to take a look at our very first contest. And that is going to be on HQ. And already, some abilities have gone out, and they're looking at each other. PK shot going to go out over here. Whiff, which, you know, we can all relate to. That and a couple of 9s here and there. As Jenny going to try and take position and support her teammate. Tori going to be broken, but it is okay as Jenny is able to get the knock on Noob. Another one goes down as Bosker gets knocked to a PK. Huge car shots, very, very low, and Jenny gonna be able to get the triple take finish as our first contest is now over. That is 3 KP. 3 KP for Clickbait. So we slide over to the other contest that we have on Storm Point. They are still going to be in a looting pattern, but we will continue to stay here and cover this until something else breaks out. That was some impressive fighting, and that was a very good job to clean up quickly. Cleaning up quickly in the early game, ever so important when you are on a stacked section of the map. If you notice, that bottom right section of the map is extremely clustered. Cleaning up is going to be very important on Echo HQ because Coastal Camp is nearby, and then you potentially have to rotate up a hill either towards Pylon or Devastated Coast. So, good job. Good job by Clickbait. Looting going to continue for Tony Hawk Tua. Tua! Yes, it's the meme. Sorry. Angry boomer like me is yelling at the sky right now. But we will see if they decide to engage. Sorry, had an unfortunate glitch of the audio there. And it does look like Tony Hawk Tua is just going to rotate out for a little bit here to complete their looting. One can only assume their loot is not particularly great at the moment as they try to find the perfect loadouts for the upcoming engagements they will have to deal with. Early in the game, we're going to already have a knock, and that is going to be Boom's team, who rotated up all the way from Cedar and are already pushing Cascade Falls. They have a knock already, as Boom's just going to go ahead and disrespectfully punch finish Cohen. That is... I don't know if that could have been much more disrespectful unless it was a finish. Boom. That was... I'm gonna need you to settle down, buddy. Catalyst seeing a little bit of a comeback in the current meta as Scan meta is a little bit going away. Nerfs to Bloodhound. Seer coming back in a little bit just because of the passive ability to know if teams are nearby in the direction they are in. But nevertheless, Catalyst proving to be very strong. We are still very squarely in the CSM or can't see shit meta. As Play My Knock gonna identify a straggler, and that is gonna cost them dearly. And that was also the lifeline. That can be very difficult in an engagement if you don't have your lifeline to help you get that battle res off. Taking a look at the map, you can see the advantage of having a map scan legend on your team, controllers. As Boom gonna be squarely in the middle of the next ring already. As some shots go out, and Sappy gonna be in a little bit of trouble. But Boom's got him covered and hits the Sentinel shot. Boom holding the rear position, gonna push up on Squinty Squad's Croissant Enjoyer. Conduit, perfect for slowing down a fight and hopefully getting a reset, is gonna throw the ult out. As Boom gonna pick Sappy up, and perhaps we're gonna see a little bit of a reset in general in this fight. It's gonna be a 3v2, however, as they get, actually a 3v1, as they get the finish on their 2 downs. Now, is it just going to turn into a Find the Rat extermination squad? We shall see. As it stands, only one team has been eliminated. And it looks like Croissant and Joy are going to be able to get all the way out. So good job, as Boom's team will continue to be looking for them to no avail. However, gotta be careful here. There's no crafter nearby, and you have Nacho's team coming in from the west. LFS taking a little bit of an unconventional approach. Playing in Ring has kind of fallen out of favor in the current meta with ring changes. There's a hard time limit to how long you can be out in the ring now. It'll warn you, give you a 1-minute timer, at which point you will be promptly completely eliminated from the game. It's not just about health anymore. So we shall see how that goes. We are going to go ahead and shift our attention to Jurassic Park very quickly here, as they are currently in engagement, as 3PI gonna be in a little bit of trouble as they take the, they take a knock on Ryzen. Getting pushed, Ali trying to hold. Getting some good shots out, but running out of ammo at the last second with a reload. Gonna go ahead and get a knock on Butzelian. I don't, am I allowed to say that on a live coverage? I don't know, but we shall see if Twitch bans me later. I've certainly been banned from things for much less. Anyway, moving up with a Disruptor Alternator. Lisa, tag, by the way, gonna be Team Kill the Sun. That is team number 8. As Alleycat gonna get another knock on Noosh. I've had the pleasure of talking to this young man, Noosh, who just got promptly eliminated from the game. And officially, Hobie has nicknamed him the 301 Hater. Unfortunately, he was not killed by 301 there, otherwise I had a little bit more to comment on. But nevertheless, 3PI gonna be able to get out of trouble and walk away with 2 KP. Elsewhere, Play My Knock has shifted all the way up from wall up to this hillside. They are playing the north of ring. As Sappy gonna try to find a new angle getting up on this. Never mind, he's gonna hit a bat. And we will just take third-party view. And it is gonna be who they are challenging. Triumvirate, who won game 1 and actually killed them. Perhaps a little bit of sweet revenge? We won't know just yet, as Triumvirate still very much in ring. Elsewhere, we're going to have team number 13, that Smooth Criminals, with a little bit of a difficult rotate trying to come in here. Going through choke already. They're going to have to climb that hill next to the gravity cannon by Cascade Falls. And Cascade Falls is an absolute trap right now. There are two teams moving north from Cascade Falls up towards the res beacon on the hill. And I don't know if Smooth Criminals is aware that there is a duo just around the corner from them. That's going to be Cohen from earlier, who was knocked by Boom. It looks like they were able to get someone up. But it is still going to be difficult. Elsewhere, Boom's little fuck shits. Hank going to be knocked by Ring. I'm not sure they're aware.
I see someone over there.
And it does look like they are going to not engage with that duo, but they are coming across another team rotating up this hill. Gonna be a fight to establish high ground. And there's already a team on the zip station. So they're gonna have to be careful coming through this rotate. Trying to keep a low profile, not sending any shots out. Not a bad move. Don't want to make noise if you haven't been spotted yet. Still stuck in a rotation. But there is another duo off to the left up their hill, and they just spot them. Some flatline shots go out. Horizon ult is down. Ring 2 doesn't hurt too bad. You can tank it just a little bit. Grace with the shot's gonna get a knock. As this is a three-way scrum now. They're gonna get some more damage out. And what a good spray. It is going to be little fuck shits against Smooth Criminals, and we shall see. Lifeline gets the final res off. And this is the difficulty of fighting Lifeline. Regardless, they are able to clean that up relatively quickly, as Smooth Criminals able to pick up a quick amount of KP. We see at least 4 here. Let's see if we can identify Smooth Criminals. 13. Gonna have 5 KP off that engagement. They're still low of Tony Hawk Tua, but it looks like Hawk is set to ignore that and just move up the hill as Ring 3 begins to hurt, and they only have 20 seconds left to find and establish a position inside the ring. Moon actually able to survive and somewhat recover, although for this little rat, moving up into this ring gonna prove to be no easy task. Here we have 3PI gonna get absolutely demolished by a Sentinel here, as Alleycat gonna have to try and hold. They are basically in ring, although this is not a good spot. There are very, very few good firing angles back at the team, shooting them. And just gonna have to be content to try and play Nox for a little bit, just to kind of reset and get their wits about them. As we look at Gibby Goon Squad, who is the team laying siege to 3PI. Third party in it. Lonk's team under a little bit of duress as well. This is a great vantage point for Gibby Goon Squad. Although they really, surprisingly, are not going to be focusing the team they put under duress. 3PI. We shall see if they are made to pay for that. Wow. G7 shots absolutely annihilating J Spark. Let's take a look at the map. See. Things are set up for a rather similar finish, but not quite the same on the north end of the map. We've got a few teams already vying for the early position there.
This direction calls to me. Let us go.
Is Triumvirate going to be once again in prime position on that map? On that ring. Tony Hawk 2 with some eliminations in a three-way scrum. As Triumvirate gonna just continue to lay siege from above on these teams. And Smooth Criminal's gonna be eliminated. Sorry we did not get that action for you. .3PI continues to be in quite a bit of trouble as the only true viable rotate at this particular point in time gonna be through this choke to her left. Cabbages is under duress in between two teams, and we shall see if she manages to get out of here. 1,300 damage, but no kills. And they just have to try and survive a little longer, but not going to be able to, as Lonk going to be able to get the elimination. Lonk's team not too bad in terms of trouble at the moment, as they should have a little bit of a rotate. There is a team standing north of them, holding them out. And Gibby Goon Squad going to continue to hold teams out, playing edge just a little bit here. Lonk's team under a ton of duress. Gibraltar ult goes out. Good zoning tool. Forcing people off of cover. Forcing people out of their little nooks and crannies, as going to get huge amounts of damage. Neo only going to barely get away, but only for a moment, as Lonk now going to go down. And that is it for Meow. 5 teams remaining. Triumvirate in absolutely the driver's seat. This is, again, going to be their team to lose. Or game to lose. As they get some shots out on the down. Gibby Goon Squad going to be resetting out on the far edge of ring. And they are going to have quite the uphill literal battle to try and get into this ring. Sand shot's going to go out, take a little bit of triple take. As Jordan going to try and cover for his teammate. As Gibby Goon Squad has now taken the high ground. Triumvirate temporarily left and came down a little bit lower just to try and get some KP. Firing angle is ever so important, but at the same time, you do not want to give up your good spots if you have them, especially with a lack of mobile champ. Their only mobility for Triumvirate's going to be the Ashe ult. EMP going to go out. Great opening damage. As Jordan going to help get that first knock. Beautiful opening. And they're going to wipe out the team on high ground. I don't think Gibby Goon Squad was quite expecting that level of coordination from a Crypto team. Beautiful, beautiful shots. Couldn't even cover it in time. It is a 2v2, as once again, Triumvirate in a prime position to win this game. They can just come down and clean up. The other team's not even in the ring. They're going to get one knock and just Nacho left, and they are just going to get the wipe again. Triumvirate with 2 in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, that is quite the hot start. Is anyone going to be able to catch up to them? I am not sure yet. Let's take a look at the points. Coming off fresh from their 25-point game, Triumvirate gonna drop another absolute bomb with 23. Another first place finish for 12 placement points and 11 kills. I don't know that there is a better coordinated team at the moment. They are truly playing this like competitive. Great recovery at the end of the game there to avoid the mistake or recover from the mistake of getting their high ground taken away from them when they went for KP, and that was just a beautiful coordination of ults. Fuse ult go out to get people panicking, sieging a little bit with the Q, and then an EMP to open up that push. It is just a beautiful thing to see. As the players get ready for us to shift back over to World's Edge, Nerf Crypto is paying good for everyone. Nerf Jordan. As we get ready to shift back over to World's Edge here. How is everybody feeling in the games? So far, I think it's been pretty interesting. Let's see if we can get a better tournament outlay of the current situation. And unquestionably, in first place, we have Team 7 Triumvirate with 48 points. 2 first place finishes for 24 placement points to be followed up with 24 kills. That is a monster start. Team 17, Play My Knock, Boom Razzle himself, going to be in second place. You know, it seems distant, but we still got 4 whole games to go on 2 more maps with a whopping 28 points off of 17 kills. And then there's quite a drop off as we see points of 17, 15, 15, and 14. And, you know, we're going to have some teams. Fortunately, no one has put up a big fat 0 as we have, you know, things level out. But lots of time. Once again, 2/3 of the games remaining. And 2 brand new maps to get into. So you're not out of it yet. So just keep on fighting in there, teams. Keep on fighting. Players loading up at the drop ship now. We will do a little bit more in-depth analysis and maybe talk stats and things like that at the break. We will have a short break as we switch lobbies for game 4 and 5 and 6. But for the time being, we will just get you right back into the action. As the players begin to drop into their designated drop spots for World's Edge, I don't believe there are any contests. The 2 closest teams to each other are going to be Gibby Goon Squad and that UFO's team semi-contesting. They're not really contesting Monument and Fragment. So we'll see where this ring pulls and where they decide to go. Privileged information as a spectator, we can see that both teams are going to be in a ring, so they may not quite be in a hurry to look at each other. Triumvirate gonna land Dome. Playing Edge on World's Edge, which is not a bad choice. Edge always higher potential for kills as you are rotating into ring and run into other teams and chokes. The downside being if you get caught out in a bad position or you are late, it can cost you, especially if you are having to rotate through a choke or a high ground. And there's a team holding you out. This team of Crypto, Fuse, and Ash, not the most mobile team. They do have a Ash ult for when it's absolutely hot or they want to get a finish on a kill very quickly or jump a team. But for the most part, not going to have the level of mobility that, say, a Pathfinder, Valk, or Octane would provide. Definitely more general utility, though. Ashe a little bit more in the meta this season with rather strong Q with the buffs to the perk system. Either being able to have 2 charges of it or to have a snare that grabs multiple people. And Crypto provides this unique advantage of not only being in the recon class to scan the beacons, but also being able to constantly look at banners and tell you exactly how many squads are within, I believe it's 200 or 250 meters. Very, very good to know before you try to take a fight to avoid getting that proverbial third-partied. Still no engagements going, and now we actually see, again, not all teams have this information unless you have a controller and scan the beacon, that the very next ring is actually going to be central north on either Fragment or Monument, I apologize. As Gibby Goon Squad going to take the prime position on top of Streamer Building in Fragment. And we can see a little bit of controller stick drift from Jordan's view. So let's go ahead and shift to something else. Perhaps someone's looking for a fight. G-Spot attempting to rotate out of their POI countdown. Gonna be looking at Boom Squad, who has rotated up from Mirage all the way through Landslide. As G-Pom gonna take a shot that does not land. And begin to take shots at Boom Razzle himself. Boom going to be forced to use the Catalyst ult to try and obscure vision a little bit. As fortunately Boom going to be able to sneak away, but only for the time being, as Sappy going to be putting longbow shots back down range. As Sappy and Alley-oop coming up the right flank on Bangalore. Gonna get bamboozled really quickly here. But however, Boom gonna be able to get a knock anyway. And Alley going in for the kill shot as she knocks Groms. And with that, G-Spot gonna be wiped from the game yet again. They were just complaining in chat about getting bullied. That is unfortunate. Do not believe that is teabagging. I do believe that is just mouse and key looting. But nevertheless, great shots by Boom's team to regain the advantage after Boom got caught out for just a moment. And they are going to go back in and charge Swarm of Bees, who has height currently on Landslide. Jump Towers, a relatively new addition to the game. I believe it was season 15 or 16. As the team they're hunting down, gonna just be content to try and run away. And they're gonna get a knock on Cranky Cat. Swarm of Bees had to play with a sub last I checked. It looks like the action will subside only for the moment here, as Pony and LFS gonna be getting into it just a little bit here. Bruce is down, or Sinner is down, and Georgie and Hank gonna have to try and recover him. Hank on a G7 gonna try and get some more damage out. Fuse Q lands. But remember, it is a 2v3, so they're gonna have to tread very carefully. Surprising decision by Pony not to finish Bruce. Bruce able to crawl back into the building down below and begin getting lifeline rest, but Hank possibly Gonna go down to standing in a fuse ult. You know better than that, buddy. Is Georgie gonna come up and be able to try and get a recovery? They do have a knock on the other team, or did have a knock on the other team, so perhaps it's a trade of resets. Ring gonna move again in 1 minute and 30 seconds, so they will have to keep an eye on that as they are pretty far out from this next ring. It is gonna be one hell of a rotation through one of 3 real chokes, and fortunately, most of it's downhill, but you still don't want to be caught in that down position of having to rotate through someone. And they are going to do the wise move and go ahead and take a jump tower. And, oh, the jump tower is destroyed. A good move in any competitive setting. Requires a little bit of coordination. They do have a lot of health. But it is generally not a bad idea to shoot that out to prevent teams from behind you from getting ahead of you in rotations. Georgie now going to go ahead and get rotating. And perhaps they get this one off. And they do, as Georgie going to catch up with the rest of her team. Elsewhere, another team has been eliminated. As Dad and Co. going to be engaging against Smooth Scriminals. Smooth Scriminals, Grace has gone down. It is a 3v2. Horizon still seeing some play, especially in rank. And from the heavens, Rika gonna drop down a bit behind Scriminals. And thanks to some help from teammates and a third party, gonna be able to get the kills. However, their lifeline does go down. Gonna make getting a reset a little bit more difficult as Lonk gonna hit those 30-30 shots. Lonk's Mio gonna move in, maybe loot up a little bit and try to capitalize on that knock. The reset does take some time as, again, they did knock the lifeline. Shots going out. They are just barely in the ring here. Gonna be content to attempt to hold out and keep just a little bit. And we shall see if this jump tower manages to get them out of a situation. As Dad and Co. not gonna be able to pull it off as another team effort downs another evac tower. Lock moving into flanking position. A nice charge rifle shot is going to go out. And Lock going to be happy to get the finish here, or try to. And they are going to be able to knock down yet another player from Dad and Co. Now they are going to have to get back into ring, but fortunately it is not that far as they are already in here. And just reset and enjoy the KP they just earned. Bloodhound courtesy scan to make sure no one is in these buildings is a great move and should be practiced more often. Just throw the scan. I know it's got a 23-second cooldown now, but it is so valuable when you are taking a new spot or cover. They are going to play a large part in eliminating the squad they just shot at. I do believe Dad and Co. gonna be out of this game. A little bit of action brewing up over here in Monument as we have a team fighting. Ring managed to move away from here. So now, teams previously in the middle will also rotate quite a bit to get out of this trouble. Arc stars everywhere. Nades are great zoning tools, not just for doing damage, but to create different cover play, force people around. Nohitsky going to be knocked by Moon with the ever so present Havoc in the current meta. Moon landing some shots and gonna actually get the knock, finishing up with the Prowler. As Pony gonna be eliminated from this game. Very impressive stuff from Squinty Squad, playing as a 2 at the moment. And we shall see if they are able to get this recovery. dangerous, dangerous attempt to res. As we take a look at the current map, we see not any teams in the next ring, but the current ring very well populated and represented. I don't think there's a lot of teams playing controller legends, so that may play a part into it as well. Not many teams know it's going to be Hillside Finish. But we do have a duo in Clickbait going ahead and already moving in to get in position for it. I'll leave the map on the screen for you for just a second here. They do get the res off, but Squinty Squad in a little bit of trouble as they have to move through ring in ring 3. Smart move not to take the zip line. You can always play low ground. And they are being done some favors as the team holding them out gets third-partied. Play My Knock going to be in a prime position to snipe and gatekeep a little bit, but they do have to be careful. Ring 4 does hit like a truck, and there it is. They are going to attempt to evac out of here as well. Elsewhere, we have an absolute ton of action as Sweet Saucers going to be dealing with a fight that is a multiple team fight. Holding down a building but not in a ring is an interesting move, but they don't really have a choice. You are on Watson, gotta make use of those fences. These teams gotta have to be a little careful about spending too much time holed up in a position that is terrible. Keep in mind, their ring forces them to cross the tracks and run up the hill towards the end zone. As Play My Knock gonna try and clean up this area so that they can be the only ones in a ring. Got Sappy playing the anchor position, trying to hold their retreat and ring on the crafter. Good move. You always want an anchor to hold your retreat. As Allie gonna continue to pressure the team that they are gatekeeping. Constantly playing for position. Some shots go out and a very, very fast knock with the R9 at this range. Is Allie just going to be content to let that one die to ring and try to continue holding out? Elsewhere, the absolute clusterfuck that is happening as teams have to rotate in from Monument goes on. With Squinty Squad fresh off their recovery res, going to be able to clean up, almost clean up 2 entire teams here and really get their feet set once again. Squinty Squad gonna have to figure out a really, really good way to rotate in. They do have a catalyst to help them obscure some vision and buy them some time. And the fortunate side of thing is there's only 5 squads remaining, and not all of them are full, as Order of the Phoenix kit gonna have a solo running around. They do need to be careful. There is a team low to the left of them. Little fuckshits, and they will just have to be content. And there's the nade that makes them aware. And the reigning champs currently not going to be in this game anymore, as Triumvirate has been eliminated. So finally, we are going to see a new winner. Little fuckshits taking a bizarre rotate around the ring. But they are going to be able to get to a much better spot than being low of Squinty Squad. And they are just going to be resetting their health a little bit and getting ready for this forced push they're going to have to make in order to get up into ring and not take round 5 damage. But with the assist of Play My Knock, there is a little bit of an opening. We shall see if they take this. As Mio gonna be eliminated by Play My Knock on the other side of this ring. Play My Knock and Co. gonna be in a little bit of trouble as they made a push to the other side. That's the problem with playing the inside or middle of ring, is you're generally going to be pushed by other teams vying for your position. But it does appear that the Bangalore and being able to clean up a couple of their downs is going to give them a moment to reset a little bit, as they are now very nearly full health. They are going to be taking shots back at little fuckshits as they get a bunch of huge shots out, and now LFS in a world of hurt. As Sappy gonna push up first, put out some damage, and hey, you're a lifeline. You better stay alive. You cannot be dying. And only barely avoids getting knocked down. Elsewhere, it does look like Squinty Squad has eliminated the other team and the Rat, as this is just a fight for the hold position. Squinty Squad, however, down to a solo, so we are watching the host himself being in the prime winning position, trying to eliminate this squad that is going for the res. Boom, or Ali gets us some shots out and quickly knocks Squinty Squad's last person standing, as Moon gonna come back in, but for how long will he be able to hold out against Alley-oop? Alley-oop, a semi-professional player, and the Eva shots go out with the hammer points, and that is it. Your game number 3, your game number 1 on World's Edge, or game number 3 total winner, gonna be Play My Knock. Let's take a look at the score from that game, and it is an absolute, what they like to call a banger, as Play My Knock going to be able to put out 23 kills in that game to accompany the first place finish for a grand total of 35 points. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a monster. And they may just be able to catch up somewhat in the standings. We're going to have to look at how Triumvirate did. Triumvirate, team number 7, looks like we're eliminated early, so I do believe that is going to be enough for them to overtake and then some. Taking a look at the overall standings, if these will refresh kindly. Play My Knock now going to have 63 points off of a few good placements and 40 kills. Triumvirate still in great position, second place with 24 kills and 48 points. They gained 0 that last game, getting eliminated, I believe, second. And Squinty Squad making themselves a move as well. I do believe they moved up a couple of spots in these standings, now for a grand total of 36 points. And, you know, these teams from 5 down or 4 down, still in pretty good position. We still have half the games to go. No one should be counted out at this time. Remember, if Boom can put out 35 points in a single game, anyone can get right back in here. World's Edge, as you can see, playing terribly differently from World's Edge playing out very, very differently than your previous map, Storm Point. There's a little bit less space to work with, and quite a bit more chokehold. A little bit less elevation, a little bit less layering on the POIs, coexisting a little bit more difficult at times on a lot of those POIs. So let's actually look at... Never mind. But World's Edge, also known as probably the second most competitively balanced map because of the way things are spread out. Some of the recent changes, mixed reception from players. Competitive players not necessarily loving or hating the change, rather neutral just because the game slightly changes for them. Not well received by the community. Monument was not a popular addition. I think Fragment West and Fragment East were kind of very popular. But however, it's still a very balanced map. second only to Storm Point. Let's go back to the ring breakdown. And you can see that first, or that ring 2 really had a couple of teams feeling good. People rotating in, especially from the northwest side of the map, that managed to get in after Monument left their POI and went into Fragment East, really beginning to feel good about themselves as multiple people actually able to get into Ring 1. And then in Ring 2, people still not doing too bad, couple of eliminations. Just being able to coexist. Monument and Fragment East having a lot of available spots to sit in, reasonable amounts of layering. And then we get a surprise shift away into a rather open space going up a hill, and that is when you really begun to see Boom's team Play My Knock really have an advantage. Got a little dicey at the end there as they almost got pushed by 2 squads at the same time. That is a risk you carry when you play the middle of a good zone. But able to recover and clean up their east side or west side very quickly to go back and then follow up on damage and clean up looking little fuck shits on the east side. And then from there, it's just a cleanup job on the reeling and recovering, rezzing Squinty Squad or Moon's team. So, overall, very interesting, different gameplay we're seeing here. I like the map changes. We got one more game on World's Edge before we shift over to a Broken Moon, and we shall see how that goes. Again, I'm just going to put up points from the last game. We are adding up the points, Boom. Here is the total right now. I'm going to put that right on top of the screen right now. Let me shift back so you can see it. These are the totals. Two Horn, you are doing great, buddy. And yeah, there is a game-by-game breakdown that we can go over a little bit. Actually, Boom, let me do this. Let me actually put this in the chat and you can see for yourself the point totals on the game-by-game breakdown. Feel free to please link that in the your own chat. I'm actually going to DM it to you in Discord as well. But this is just absolutely a fun day so far. We do have some people leading. Again, I'm just going to recap the people leading out here. Teams 1, 2, and 3, constantly good performers. I believe Play My Knock Team 17 here with Boom Rezzle has placed second, first, and I believe 7th. But that is just good placements, and a ton of kills is always going to buoy you. Triumvirate with the back-to-back wins unfortunately drop a 0-point game in Game 3, but I have no doubt they will recover. And Squinty Squad just kind of hanging in there, keeping within striking range. One good game, and they are just right back in this. Remember, this was a 35-point game in Game 3 to rocket them from 28 points to 63. One of those from Squinty Squad, and that's 71, and you are clearly just in the lead. And this is your Game 3 score as we prepare for game number 4. Originally, we were going to swap lobbies over, but it appears that we will not be doing that anymore. And it appears most of the players are ready, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to take a quick breather to drink some water. Gotta stay hydrated. And I will rejoin you shortly. Thanks for hanging around. This is Cypher the Zero, ALBS, Apex Legends, Boomtown Scrims.
Havoc rifle. Spitfire here.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 2.
Dibs.
Flatline here.
Thank you.
And we are back. This time, looking at a rather different ring pool. It's going to play south of the map, and looks like towards Tree. As you can begin to see right now, we are going to be dealing with almost the opposite side of the map. So now the northern team's not going to have nearly as an easy rotation. That west side of the map is really the only open spot that you can come through. The landslide vault tunnel. Not necessarily a smart move, just because it's so easy to hold out. But nevertheless, this will provide some relief to some of the teams that perhaps last game got a little unfortunate being forced to rotate up from the south side so quickly and then getting eliminated on rotations.
Backpack here. Level 2.
We'll continue to monitor this map for just a little while longer as teams get in position and have to move and perhaps begin to get in position to get engaged. We're getting a little bit of movement now, as expected, as the northwest side of the map here begins to have to move early. Northeast, taking a little bit of time, but Overlook's not too far from being in. Clickbait looks like going to have a safe rotate as 3PI going to be moving away from the vault tunnel in Geyser, and they should be able to play that if needed. Sweet Saucer's up in Fragment, now rotating into Monument, and then that's going to be in for this ring, but not the next one, obviously. They are still going to have a monster rotate, so they may want to move soon. As we begin to look at Kill the Sun having to move in all the way from Climatizer, they are going to be trailing behind a tagless team here. Team 19 leftovers. And they're just going to have to make sure they don't call too much attention to themselves, because off just to the west of the teams they are trailing is going to be that Sweet Saucers I talked about earlier. Elsewhere, you've got Squinty Squad having to worry about Smooth Criminals pushing out to take a look a little bit, and Lee might just get caught out by himself here. But fortunately, going to have Sheila out behind a wall, so going to be able to buy some time for his teammates to possibly attempt to arrive and help him out. Break out on Ash. And this is the power of having a Sheila. You can just kind of buy a little bit of time, and early in the game, if you already have ult, you really, really can begin to apply a lot of pressure. Charge Rifle, seeing a little bit of a comeback among stronger players in the game, as it is able to do that at range. 128 for a headshot on blue at range is something else. And Lee going to be content to just re-stabilize, as Boom's team going to be moving down to actually attempt to third-party this or create a little bit of opening on Smooth Criminals. Moving up this hill, always a little risky, but there's a little bit of range, so they should be able to do it. Or it looks like they're going to be content to just take the tunnel and avoid this engagement. Not a ton of fighting around at the moment. But we are going to have G-Spot and LFS over in this quadrant, taking a little bit of pokes on each other, as both have a little bit of work to do in rotation. Does look like LFS at this moment is going to be content to move south, but they are not probably aware that Pony is going to be there waiting for them right around Mirage. There is a zip line or a jump tower just to the southeast of them, so they might be okay, as G-Spot going to be content to just move into landslide for the time being.
Not me.
And it does look like we still have 19 squads up who are going to go ahead and be able to get into ring relatively drama-free, as there's still plenty of space to occupy. This is a chief difference between, say, even high-level ranked and comp, is people tend to try and coexist because placement is ever so important, especially when you're playing for real money in ALGS. You really just want to live more than you want points. Points only count for one. They do not get a multiplier. So you're seeing teams be a little bit more careful as they attempt to rotate into this ring. We do have 2 teams eliminated, and unfortunately I was not able to catch that action. But 18 teams is still a bunch. And now we can begin to see a little bit better where this ring's going to finish. Get this ring a lot. It usually shifts more towards the tree side. So we shall see if that holds true. Again, this is privileged information. Teams without a controller that have not scanned the beacon will not be able to tell this. Elsewhere, we've got Clickbait looking at Kill the Sun, and we are going to see if they are going to be able to get this fight over quickly, as again, they have a very long rotate through several chokes and elevation changes to get through. For the time being, we'll shift over to a fight that's active. Here, G-Spot getting double ulted from a Fuse and Bangalore. Gag gonna go ahead and drop down and try to find an angle so that he can create an opening for his team. They do have a knock. Gag is going to try and capitalize and prevent the reset. This is also a pretty long rotate, so they're going to want to get this done quickly. Otherwise, they are going to get held coming in, as LFS moving in position to do just that. Groms re-knocks or finishes with the Riot Drill. Maggie's seeing a lot of play this season due to the new popularity of a lot of bunker characters. And it does look like they are not going to chase and be content to just loot off of their 1 KP and probably get out. Clickbait and Kill the Sun have disengaged, and it looks like they are going their separate ways in rotation. And it's going to be very interesting what this southeast side of the map has to do in a little bit here. And a fight is breaking out in the south of the ring, as Hawk gonna be eliminated by Smelanoma. They are just gonna have to try and get through this eventually, as they are gonna be held out by Triumvirate for a little bit. At the moment, they just got to clean up behind them as they are staring down 3PI. 3PI, I believe, still a duo. Nope, looks like they got someone up. So Noma gonna be fighting as a duo instead, and gonna try to have to fend this off. They do have Ring, but it's only Ring 2, so tankable for a little bit. They're gonna want to try and push the issue as soon as they can. Very much like playing, basketball. You want to get people up against, the ring with their backs. Just get that third defender in play, or extra defender in play. As it does look like 3PI gonna be content to rotate away from this best they can. But they are going to be rotating into Triumvirate, who already has a crypto drone out on their position. Ring 2, remember, still reasonably tankable. Ever since the update a few seasons ago, Ring 2 does the same damage as Ring 1, or rather, Ring 1 does the same damage as Ring 2. That's 3 damage per tick. But Smelanoma going to be third-partied by Lonk's team, as the nade goes out, and they're going to get a very quick knock on Squawk.
Crow looking, not seeing. Getting some quick vault shots at range as Boskar tries to break the line of sight and will, but only for a moment. 2x on a wingman, interesting choice. Dives in, and then the hip fire shot will do it, and goodbye, Noma has been eliminated from the game. But, unfortunately, playing this angle of ring comes with its downsides. Is Triumvirate gonna move in after fresh off of eliminating their side of the conflict that was trying to get out? 3PI eliminated on this side. Now Triumvirate gonna be content to actually turn away and say, you know what, we can go hold them out somewhere else. Mio gonna get away with one here. As we see, the ring is in fact going to be an off-tree ring in the middle of the water, or the springs. So we're going to see these northeast teams towards Harvest are going to have to make quite the big rotate. LFS and Pony off on this left side of the ring right now, gonna be tough. They are in this ring, but they're going to either have to go around very quickly or face going up an uphill battle against Clickbait, who's going to be staring down at them up the hill from this little base that they're playing on. G-Spot in the northwest faces a similar predicament, but worse, as they are going to have to deal with a bunch of teams holding them out as well, no matter which way they go. That is the danger of playing towards edge and rotating late. As Bees begins to move in on Kill the Sun, we shall see how this goes. I do believe Kill the Sun is playing on and around the train tracks. So it may be wise for Bees to just play this hillside and carefully think about how they want to rotate in. "12 teams remaining, still well over half, and we are just about ready to move into Ring 4. 1 minute remaining. Ring 3 is the first ring that really hurts, but Ring 4 begins to hit like a truck. You do not want to be caught out in this. Elsewhere, Meow has been eliminated by Play My Knock, or about to be eliminated by Play My Knock with a finish and a down, as Ali knocks Crow and finishes the kill. Bees content to just kind of try to sneak into Ring here. LFS now being forced to make their move as they only have 30 seconds left to make a wrap around type of rotate. Going to be held out by Squinty Squad, who has a rampart. This could be very difficult. Now, Squinty Squad is not in ring either, where you saw that rampart just a second ago on your screen. However, they do have a little bit of leverage from a rotational elevation side of things, and they also have the benefit of not having anyone directly behind them, although they will be staring up the hill at Triumvirate, should Triumvirate try to play a little bit of gatekeeping. And now Squinty Squad content to just attempt to long wrap, taking the jump tower. It's a little bit late to be doing this, I can't lie, ladies and gentlemen. Not that I have any horse in the race. And they, right there, are going to have to turn around. It is not a good idea. Ring 4 kicks too much. For now, we will keep an eye on LFS, as they find themselves just outside a ring on this hilltop, but they do have a Watson ultimate at their disposal, and they do have some choices should they choose to drop elevation. Clickbait gonna go ahead and be eliminated from this game. Getting some good shots in on Triumvirate, who are, I believe, in a rather prime position for at least this closing ring right now. And they're gonna lose Georgie. But they are gonna be able to get that res off. And with a gold knockdown, no less. So a free reset, and they were not being looked at. And they are just come up on Squinty Squad's Lee, getting ratted on for just a moment as they try to recover this. Unfortunately, Lee, well-placed wall makes access very difficult. And they are going to be eliminated by Triumvirate, actually, who wants to get in on the action from a third party. Triumvirate now, since they realized they were not in the ring, is going to go ahead and try to shift over and try to get in on the action, but not a good move as they are going to go down to the Rampart ult, Sheila. But able to recover and avenge the loss. Just one player remaining on Squinty Squad, and Triumvirate gonna be able to possibly recover as they have a player that's at the top of tree. Sappy gonna be playing under this though. This is very, very interesting. And Sand gonna go down again to a long range sniper shot. Juba gonna have to content to ult out of there and not die. Ring 5 is closing. It looks like they will be losing Super Sand Legend, and so will they be losing Jordan. G-Spot doing a little bit of damage here in this game. From a rather good position on Ring, actually. They don't have the most space to work with, but they have great cover, as they're gonna hopefully be able to capitalize on this and knock out the reigning champs from Game 3. A lot of pressure going out. And unfortunately, a Catalyst ult gonna be able to help secure a little bit of escape, even if only for now. This Ring is not kind. This Ring is not kind. Three teams remaining as the final ring prepares to close. And we have G-Spot, Play My Knock, and Sweet Saucers left in the game. I do believe Sweet Sauce. Nope, everyone is a full 3 as Boom moves in to try and capitalize. Boom playing height on G-Spot and gonna get a knock on Geg. Beautiful Havoc shots, super meta gun. Some people believe it's cheating and a little OP. And Nacho gonna get the swap, but we'll see how long this lasts. As Nacho, forced to play in the open, gets stuck, and that is gonna be how your game 4 ends as Boom toying with the enemy. Going for the stick at close range to close out this game. Guys, I do believe we're going to hear a few calls for banning team number 17 just a little bit here. Let's get the score on the board. Team 17 coming up with 20 points in the game. A little bit lower in their kills than last game. Not quite the bomb, but still 20 gets them well ahead of everyone else in the lobby. Team 7, Triumvirate not doing too bad with a monster 15 kills, but unfortunately not even making a top 3. Team number 2, G-Spot, actually having a little bit of a resurgence. Looks like they're getting their wheels back on the ground a little bit and stop spinning. They're actually finally in gear. Putting up 16 points off of, I believe that's an 8 kills. And then rounding out the top 5, we got team number 4, Squinty Squad, with 10 whole kills, but just getting a little bit unfortunate in the late ring rotations and being held out a little bit. Great play on Lee's ratting in the corner with a Sheila. That was, I can't lie, I'd be a little tilted and ranked right now. And then we've got Team 8, Kill the Sun, rounding out that top 5 with 4 kills and 13 points in the game. Switching over to your overall standings after that game is up. We've got Play My Knock with 83 points. 83, surging out into the lead with a grand total of 48 kills. That is 2 wins in a row for them, taking on the role and stealing the thunder from Triumvirate, which did the same thing in games 1 and 2. It appears that World's Edge is certainly their map. Still in great positioning and a reasonable finish in that last game, Team 7, Triumvirate, rounding out at 67 points. Again, that is very well within striking distance. Then we've got Squinty Squad And I believe that's Sweet Saucers, Team 9. Yep, Sweet Saucers in 4th place with 17 kills. And well, LFS not doing too bad themselves, despite getting ratted on and getting a little bit screwed. But that's the nature of a BR. It's going to happen. Just got to pack it up and move on and attempt to do your best. As we begin to look at some of these teams, it's not quite clear yet. We still have 2 games left on Broken Moon, a little bit of a wild card. But we do have some teams that looks like today was just not their day. Some of my friends on Tony Hawk 2 Team 6 in 13th place right now, looking like they're just having a little bit of a tough time in the early contests or getting caught out in rotation. But, you know, guys, this is just one, and it looks like we will be doing many, many more of these. So bring your A game, and we will see you next time. And it's not over yet because you can still make this look very respectable. We'll go back to the game coverage for the moment as players are loading in for Game 5 or the first on Broken Moon. There are a few contests on Broken Moon. And we will bring those up. Broken Moon, nope. 2 contests as Dad & Co. and Leftovers will be taking each other on Core. And then on Terraformer, Gibby Goon Squad will be taking on Third Party Init or 3PI, because that's a mouthful. And I can't talk that fast. So let's pop in to some of the action, if there is any, right away. Even though teams are contesting, it looks like no teams landed directly on each other. So we are going to have a little bit of a looting phase right now. So here is what we will do. We'll just quickly talk about the spreading out of this map. Interesting map. Broken Moon. Not the most competitively sound, but it was a lot better with the recent update. Mostly positive feedback from professional teams and casuals alike. There are only 18 POIs on this map, so 20 squads means we're going to have some contests. That is up from 17 POIs that it used to be. They added one and added 2 and removed 1 and moved another one around. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in real time as we watch these scrims. Scriminals continuing to loot the outside of Core right now. Going to be a little bit of a loot disadvantage just because they're losing time more than anything. And the middle of Core obviously has more loot. Elsewhere, we've got Pony, who's probably going to move in, probably into a third-party position. But I'm not sure these teams are aware that their rotate is going to be quite a bit away when this next ring finishes closing. Play My Knock has moved all the way from Underpass into Quarantine as they begin to hunt for clickbait. And we will have a fight break out as Gibby Goon Squad prepares to engage. And they will be engaging 3PI. Opening nade probably should be good enough to blow up a door. Always a good choice. And that's going to be a short grenade. Looks like Jack is just going to play a little bit more conservatively as he tries to find an angle. It's hard to get a push if you don't have an opening, and they have not managed to create one as of yet. Charge rifle shot goes out, but nothing seems to come off of it. Elsewhere, Boom has been able to finish his knock on one of Clickbait's teammates, Tori. And 3PI going to be content to just get out of there. Remember, the players do not have the same highlights that we do. So they don't know. They do not know that the other team has left. Allie gonna eliminate yet another member from Clickbait. And Clickbait gonna just be... have a rat somewhere, which I can't find. So... not a lot of action yet. Ring 1 has not even closed. Teams are just trying to feel things out. Jenny perhaps will try to go for this craft and res. Wonderful addition when they redid the class system for having a support character. Mirage is support now, which is a great addition. And now you are able to craft banners. So even if you can't retrieve it manually, you can actually go ahead and craft them if you have a support character on your team and going to be able to get a res. It looks like, as of right now, Tony Hawk Tua not going to notice this, although it does make a lot of noise, and Hawk now going to be rotating back down to the east around towards Cultivation. Squinty Squad can be coming up from Atmo Station as well, so this could turn into a three-way vying for position to get into this choke. It's going to be very interesting in the next few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Kimmy's Goon Squad gonna be not eliminated. We have one down now with the finish. And we will try to find Boom's team. As Tony Hawk Tua, as I just predicted earlier, gonna have to engage. Lifeline res goes off, and now that they're taking a little bit of ring damage, gonna have to try and get in. Getting this reset's going to prove difficult as Moon is just barely in ring, not yet taking damage, but it is a tough sled all the way, and there he goes down to ring as the other members of Tony Hawk 2 try to avenge the kill. Fortunately, they have Lifeline. This is only ring 1, so you can afford to tank it for just a little bit. Remember, we are in tournament mode, so very, very unlikely to see heat shields. Actually, you probably won't see heat shields in this game. And very quickly, let me put myself in so we don't get interrupted again. It does look like Squinty Squad gonna go ahead and get a reset. 3PI in a little bit of trouble elsewhere now. As Play My Knock gonna push in on it. And they're gonna get a second knock on Alley Cat as Sappy comes in with the Nemesis. Nemesis, I don't know if it's got an official buff or not, but does feel a lot better this season. You're beginning to see it come back. We remember, Nemesis was very, very overpowered when it first came out, and the developers had to nerf it. We saw it not really in play for a little while as a result, but we are beginning to see it come back into the meta. Good gun this one, especially if it's kitted out. Elsewhere, we've got G-Spot fighting Triumvirate. As the Crypto ult gonna go out, Grom's in a little bit of trouble getting EMP'd and the Fuse ulted at the same time. Fortunately gonna be able to get the bat off, but gonna have to be very careful here. Some flatline shots come in from Jordan. Return with a headshot wingman, that's always good. Gives you a chance, and now it's up to Groms to try and make something out of nothing. As he gets pushed, and Super Saiyan Legend gonna wipe G-Spot off the map. 2 squads now eliminated. Great fighting. Elephas here in an engagement of their own as they try to deal with Jibby Goon Squad. I do believe they have a knock already as they try to capitalize on that and get some more points out of it. We're now beginning to see the final ring begin to take shape. And a lot of teams still going to have to fight when coming through in rotation. Very, very interesting endgame. Finish on Eternal Gardens. Always fun. Eternal Gardens characterized by multiple small buildings with some layering to it, especially the middle building. Multiple teams can even play a single floor. At least the bottom floor. As you can see when the nameplates on the map that I show you here begin to flash, that means people are shooting bullets as teams are vying to create openings to take position. Squinty Squad getting ready to have to deal with some teams coming their way. I'm not sure if they're aware. It does certainly seem like they are. And there's the ping. But they are going to have to be dealing with two teams. Do they gatekeep and potentially get caught out in rotation, or do they vie for cover? And it does look like they are taking the latter of those two options.
This way. Let's go.
Now just out of sight, they're going to be looking at these two teams. So we shall see if they're able to capitalize at all on their great positioning.
Any takers? Enemy OD.
And Squinty Squad going to be able to capitalize a little bit on Chase being threed. Or third-partied. And now, Squinty Squad's Croissant Enjoyer, the Lifeline, is going to have a gold knockdown. Huge during resets when you're in a bad spot. And they're just going to suppress and poke a little bit at LFS, who generally would be considered at a safe distance. Just going to show you the map a little bit here. They do have quite the ways to rotate away, and you can see that in the top right. They are just on the edge of ring right now, or top left of your screen. So they are going to have to be careful with the amount of time that this fight potentially may take. And they jump onto a rat by accident, and OTA going to go ahead and be eliminated. Very unfortunate, but that is the way a BR crumbles sometimes. LFS looks content to continue their quest to rotate into ring. And Smooth Criminal's also still alive, as Hobie gonna try and sneak in here. 30 seconds left. Boom's team play am I not going to be in prime position as they hold the middle of Eternal Gardens, which is currently in the next ring. Let's quickly take a look at the current scores from the game. Triumvirate with 6 kills already is in first for this game. There are no placement points tallied until the game is over, but at the moment, Triumvirate again continuing with their tear through the early rotates. Squinty Squad gonna have to rotate quickly here to get in position and be in cover. But they are gonna knock down one of the team members of Pony as they try to get into this building for this next rotate. Currently held by LFS, I think. And it is a multi-team battle, so they are going to just try and take their time. Remember, Croissant Enjoyer has a gold knockdown, so he needs to take care to not go down as the teams reset. Hanky is also going to be down, so elsewhere we are just dealing with all sorts of things. LFS going to be eliminated. I do believe that is in this fight. Elsewhere, Triumvirate trying to capitalize a little bit and force ahead this rotation as Jordan gonna be knocked down by Sappy with a sentinel shot. 25 seconds to go before the rotate. It does look like getting pushed up on. Sappy able to get the re-knock with the Nemesis shots. And Triumvirate gonna be eliminated. They were the kill leaders in this game, but very quickly that has changed the situation as now Play My Knock gonna go back to being in first place with 9 eliminations. Lonk's team currently trying to play just the outside of this ring and hold this choke for a little bit. A lot of teams going to have to go through here. Squinty Squad wisely uses an evac tower and flies over all of it. We'll be curious to see how long Meow tries to hold this choke point. And the Rat Hobie going to be eliminated for Smooth Criminals, and they are gone from this game. And it does look like Meow is now in a little bit of trouble as both teams they thought they might be able to hold out going to be flying right over them. So now they've got a little bit of catch up to play. There's not a ton of good cover here. You can play the low track, but if teams decide to get aggressive and push, you will be in trouble. However, they do have a rampart, so a little bit of time can be bought. And they're just going to be sieging Tony Hawk Tua for just a little bit here, as Tony Hawk Tua not in a great position either. Unstopped on Conduit should be able to provide a little bit of extra shields as they try to get themselves out of that predicament. But we shall see for how long they can hold out. Gibby Goon Squad with one surviving Rat is continuing to hold for placement points. Good shots go out. Charge rifle, knock, and finish. Very, very impressive. Tony Hawk Tua now down to a duo. And now we begin to see that the final circle actually plays just outside. Plays just outside of Boom Squad on the middle of Eternal Gardens. Unstopped going to be eliminated, so it's going to be up to his last remaining teammate, Mo, and he is not going to be able to carry it off as Meow from their outside position able to get 3 KP off of that. Now, with just seconds remaining, we'll see how they manage to rotate into this ring, as they have a very difficult one ahead of them. Fuse ult out, very, very good idea. Very good for reducing visibility, as well as just moving people off the slow and damage ever so present of a threat. And Lonk going to take a little bit of damage from ring and bullets. It is going to get really, really tight as she tries to hit a bat and rejoin her teammates trying to get into this ring. Play My Knock going to have an absolutely dominant position to try and hold Meow out. And Lonk is going to go down to the Hemlock shots, extremely prevalent weapon in ALGS, as Boom debating whether he wants to go finish and wisely gets out of the way of the devotion. 4 squads remaining. Squinty Squad eliminates or knocks down Alley-oop, and Boom forced to back up out of the fight for a second here, but only for a moment as the Devo from up above goes, and Boom is going to go down. Sappy is the last one up remaining for Play My Knock, and down below here we have Squinty Squad in full regatta, all 3 of them still up, getting ready to win this game. Showing the map real quick. See that the ring is going to finish just on the outside, and Sappy is actually going to be pretty close to it. Gibby Goon Squad's Oddball going to be the last one remaining, but it looks like Sappy going to go eliminate his fellow Rat. So now we are down to 3 squads. 3 squads remaining, and Sappy is a solo. Smelanoma has the devotion, but they are in a little bit of a tough spot. They can quickly get to ring, however, they are playing out in an open field. Noma Bhaskar just gonna crouch right here and wait maybe to try and sneak up on Sappy, as Sappy gonna do a little bit of work and eliminate Squawk. There's now a duo and a solo in this game. As we go into full-scale combat, Squinty Squad, huge Havoc shots to open, and they're gonna be able to eliminate Sappy. It is a 3v2. As Moon's shots on the Nemesis go out, not hitting very much, but able to survive, maybe get a shield swap. They did get a shield swap. And gonna try and push through. It is basically a 3v1, but currently 3v2. As Bhaskar able to get a little bit of a reset, still very low health, but a 3v2, there is no need to rush it. And Bhaskar gonna be knocked. It is a full-on 3v1 as Noob is gonna be at the bottom. Car shots go out. And the Havoc, the ever-so-present OP weapon of the current meta, is going to win the game for team number 4, Squinty Squad. And I don't care that it's not politically correct to say. And your final tally for game number 5, our first game on Broken Moon, is going to be Squinty Squad dropping a decent-sized game at 24 points with 12 kills. Play My Knock, even though they did not even finish in the top... No, they finished in the top 3, still draw 15 kills to end up with 22 points. Team number 10, Smelanoma, did really good to hold out towards the end, but unfortunately, with a lack of KP, just not able to really be a big game. But that was a great game. Let's look at the overall standings. The overall standings now after Game 5. I'm hearing calls to disqualify this team. But currently in first place with a whopping 105 points. This is Team Falcons all over it. Is 105 points with 63 kills. Triumvirate not trailing too far behind. Anything can happen. 75 points with 46 kills. And now surging into contention is Squinty Squad with 73, also with 46 kills. That is just a few less placement points. These are going to be your teams in contention in the closing home stretch. But overall, we are seeing some good movement on this leaderboard. Teams are playing very well, getting lots of kills, lots of activity, and a lot of teams are playing very smart. Even Team 6 had a little bit of movement that last game. They're up to 8 kills for 15 points. And with that, I'm going to take a quick break for about 2 minutes, and we will see you shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption, but we are back, and we can begin to look at how the contests on the two POIs play out. And it looks like a little more aggressive landings from both teams on Terraformer, so we will jump into that action immediately. No one's been eliminated from the game yet. Still all 60 players present. As it looks like they're aware there's a seer. Great change in the game a few seasons ago. After seer meta, they added a bunch of ways to know that seer's around, starting with that sound from his passive scan. Grenades are going to go out, and they are just going to create angles, and a Gibraltar bubble goes down. As they prepare to push through this door, waiting for the Gibraltar bubble to go away. Hemlock shots not quite landing just yet, taking a little bit of Volt damage. Volt ever so present as well. In a lot of people's opinion, the best SMG in the game right now. They're all going to be tagged. Just got to wait for this to go away. That is a long tag. Be careful of that scan.
Come with me over here.
This team content to try and take angles for just a second, taking a lot of opening damage though. And now it looks like it's going to be a 1v1, and we will see. Oh no! As Ash needs to just bail out for a second here, Cabbage is going to be content to try maybe to reset. Actually, it appears no. It appears BB Goon Squad's the one that's going to get the reset. The triple console team gonna be able to survive and likely advance as they finish a second member of 3PI. And now they have 2KP and take the lead in the first game. As Cabbage is gonna have to be content to try and get out for now and maybe survive and craft later. This is game 6, final game, also the second game on Broken Moon.
Spotted a hooligan. This way.
Team 16 here also in a little bit of a challenge, but not too bad. They just need to, craft up and get moving. Ring is not too far for them. They are in core, so you're talking about maybe 200 meters away. Rotation's not too bad, as Tony Hawk Tua gonna go ahead and be in the next ring as well. As they are maybe pushing up on LFS.
And there's an evac tower here.
Not a lot of combat at the moment, so we will stick right here for now. Dad and Co. just gonna be content to slow rotate through core. I'm not sure how aware they are of Kill the Sun. This tag Lisa right here, just to their east, is moving, but it does look like they should be okay for now. Smooth Criminals looking at Pony up in the northwest have a pretty easy rotation in. There shouldn't be anyone holding them out immediately. And it does seem like they are aware and they are getting ready to push this fight, so we will hold for the action here. Bloodhound, still ever present, has taken a little bit of a backseat this season as they try to make nerfs the scan meta. Scan doesn't really work as well anymore. And Derp misses the opening shots, but it looks like they're going to be okay. As Hobie able to land a sentinel shot to open. Real quick check-in, you can see at the southwest, teams are beginning to hold in their position, and that's good because they are in the next ring. But we will keep you right here for this fight happening at the moment. Little bit more care being taken between these two teams. These are not the two most aggressive teams you're going to see in this scrim. I had the pleasure of speaking with both groups of wonderful people. And you know, they're just giving it their all and trying to see how good they can do. And as one drops, Grace gonna get an opening knock, but Grace also gonna go down. She's stuck out in the open just a little bit too long. Derp gonna be able to get quite a bit of damage in and then throw a nade. Does it land? Nope, it was just a little bit short. And unfortunately, peeking for just a little too long with that controller brain. Derp gonna go down. Hobie is down to a 1v2. Hobie gonna use this time to try and get the res. They shouldn't get pushed, but they're gonna need to hit those syringes immediately. With the charge rifle shot, they're gonna get the second knock, and one of the members of Pony gonna be content to try and just survive and get the F out of there. Goonie is going for ring and looks like gonna get in. Smooth Criminals gonna be stuck trying to call Grace back in from the dropship, and we will move you to some other action if we can find any. Smith Criminals going to get their 2 finishes as they walk through a little bit of Caustic Ult, so that's 2 KP. And now they just got to focus on getting into ring before too much more time passes. Time ever so valuable when you're dealing with this. Perhaps Dad and Co have come up because they've heard a little something. We shall see. Dad and Co shifting in. I think they're just trying to do a slow side of ring rotate. Not sure if they're aware they're running into, potentially, Smooth Criminals. They much less know that it's a duo.
Shotgun bolt here. Level 3.
They're making field battery here.
Triumvirate's getting ready to push Sweet Saucers. As Bangalore ult goes out in an attempt to stall them. And Juvo gets the opening knock, but gonna also be knocked in return as he tried to create the opening. Sand now gonna go down as Sweet Saucers perhaps maybe get this recovery. It's a 2v1. Downside of playing Crypto right here is you are usually gonna be separated from your squad. Lonk and Meow gonna be third partying this fight. And Kairu with amazing shots from the corner, ratting away to try and get this recovery. Gets the banner, and now just needs to get out. Flatline shots hitting, but able to evade. That Bangalore passive still super strong. And Mio gonna come away as the winner of that encounter as they lose minimal people to the engagement. Hawk's Unstopped gonna be removed from the game, being finished. And now, Smooth Criminal's gonna be eliminated from the game as well, as Derp gets eliminated. And trying to stick that res might not have been the smartest move in the game as Smelanoma comes in and cleans out that previous fight we were just covering. Smelanoma now with at least 2 KP. And now Smelanoma between a rock and a hard place as Neo coming in from behind them and ahead of their potential rotate is the last member of Triumvirate, Jordan. And now Smelanoma returning some shots and Lonk gonna go down. Hemlock shot's not doing great, but the Havoc ever so present. All they got to do is eliminate one more. Oh no, it's a 1v1. Squawk gonna get the elimination with the Hammer Point RE45 as Smelanoma able to go ahead and clean that up. Meow has been eliminated from the game. 17 squads remaining. Ring 2. Otaku gonna be facing up just a little bit here against Gibigoon Squad. Looks like they've taken some trades and damage. And Jack gonna be caught out just a little bit. That's a big hitbox of Gibraltar, but it looks like for the time being, gonna get away with it. No Maggie on this team. And now they're gonna be content to just finish 2 of their knocks. Cammy goes for this opening damage and gets the kill. However, are they going to get third party by Noma? And no, they will not, as Noma, or no, Kill the Sun, chooses not to engage. Pony, having recovered from the early engagement, is now facing up against Dad and Co. And they're going to get their door blown off. They're holding a building, but this is Ring 3, and they are not in. Pathfinder, another popular pick right now, especially in ALGS scrims. Ever good, but they're going to have to throw that zip line out pretty soon. As they lose someone to ring. They lose 2 to ring, and now they're going to go down with nothing left but a lifeline self-res, which is just not going to work in Ring 3. And very likely, we will be announcing Pony being eliminated from the game, so let's move elsewhere. Yep, Pony gonna be eliminated from the game, taking a major ring damage. In reasonably good possession, we have G-Spot here. Good amount of damage. Not any kills at the moment, but they are, for the very moment, in ring and will have a reasonably easy rotate depending on how many teams stand directly in their way. Very quickly to show you, the next ring is just going to be outside of Foundry. Generally speaking, playing the roof of Foundry is going to be your best spot to win this ring. So we shall see which squad ends up in that position. And G-Spot going to go ahead and eliminate 3PI. And that gives them 2 KP total. Playing smart, taking it easy. They still have 30 seconds to even think about before the ring closes. Team still taking a little bit of time here. As Bees and Otaku set to coexist on this building for just a moment. Otaku playing right below them, I believe. Actually, there's 3 teams here. That is a Catalyst reinforced door, and on the other side, not much luck. As Chicken is going to be caught out and away from the team. Chicken trying to clutch something out, but Kill the Sun gonna be able to finish their fight and clean up and just get out of there. It looks like Otaku is playing on the roof, but both of these teams are going to not be in ring very shortly, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this rotate happens. And Stallion gonna take a little bit of opening damage and gonna go immediately down. Bold res. Leftover is going to be looking at this from afar and try to get some kills. But it looks like that is not going to happen for them at this time. They did get a KP off of it. It does look like they might be able to get this res off, as there's not anyone playing the Roof of Foundry on their side of things. Play My Knock playing in Foundry building rather than on the roof. Final ring will play just off of it. Leftovers do get the res, but we shall see how they reset. They've picked up Otaku and Clickbait's last remaining survivor, Jenny. Sentinel shot hits, so they're just gonna sit and watch. Oh, what a beautiful headshot to open. And now they gotta be really careful as Boom's team does take the roof of this building. And they're gonna have to be content with just surviving and trying to advance. Alley comes in, lands some wingman shots, and taking minimal damage. And the greedy snare goes out. As it does look like Velociraptor is going to go down. Chase is going to go down. And now it's up to Cohen to try and clutch something out. As no PK shot in the face. And Alley going to wipe the floor with them. Triumvirate's back up to a duo. Looks like they were able to get a res off. As Sand going to be knocked immediately as I say that by Boom Wrestles Havoc. And Juvo going to have to be content to try and just rat this out for a little bit better placement. Elsewhere, G-Spot and Squinty Squad in a little bit of an engagement, I do believe. G-Spot is going to be playing height on here. Yep. So we will see if G-Spot is able to go in and third party and properly time fighting Play My Knock. Precarious situation. That is a tight spot. They must be out of grenades. Lots of teams are now focusing. And G-Spot is going to have Boom Razzle knock him down with the Sentinel. Boom Razzle gets his red by hitting another shot on Otaku. And it does look like G-Spot's G-Palm is going to be eliminated. Being finished, and so is Grom's. G-Spot down to one player, just Greg up top now. As the final ring begins to close, let's take a look at where this goes. Boom now playing low ground to secure the spot. Not a bad move. They do have a catalyst. And Catalyst ult is going to go out just to prevent some damage. Sappy's still on top, holding himself and able to hit a bat. And now they will go back to the roof and play that. No need to get greedy. You're in prime position. Triumvirate gonna be eliminated. Gag, another solo, holding their spot at the moment as Squinty Squad gonna knock down Boom. Squinty Squad now in a prime position to try and win this game. As Sappy gonna get knocked down by Moon, but currently... Oh, Moon actually gonna be able to get out of that as Ali unable to land the wingman shots. All right. Oh, you got bamboozled! Gag actually able to play that one off and get to a relatively safe spot, but only for the moment. Remember, Alley-Oop still playing on the roof above both of these teams. Bang, ult goes out. Presumably from Alley. And it's going to be very interesting. It is a 3v1. As Lee unable to get the shield swap, it is a 2v1. And a lifeline pickup. Huge gold knockdown, and there you go. Squinty Squad able to play the advantage from inside, taking advantage of Boom Razzle's over-aggression. We call that a throw when I do it. And they just able to win the game from taking a really good position and taking advantage of most of the teams being a solo or a duo. Your game number 6 results in right now with Squinty Squad putting up another 25-point game with 13 kills. And Play My Knock not doing too bad to get second place after the near throw of the game. 15 kills and 9 placement points. And not too far behind G-Spot, again, making a little bit of a surge, moving up just through the middle of the leaderboards, getting to third place with 3 kills for 10 total points. Let's look now at the final standings. And as expected, we are looking at the final standings of Play My Knock, Boom's team at 129 points with 78 kills. Yeah, that wasn't unfair at all. I'm not saying anything. Squinty Squad, Team 4 with 98 points, 59 kills. Triumvirate, after a hot start, was just not able to secure bigger games on the second 2 maps of Broken Moon and World's Edge, coming in still with 82 points, respectably 48 kills. And Team number 9, Sweet Saucers, surging up from the middle of the leaderboard to 4th place, 41 points, 19 kills. LFS, poor Golden Music, Georgie, having to play on mobile data, somehow managed a top 5 finish in the overall standings with 20 kills and 38 points. Smelanoma also surging up from the middle of the pack to finish 6th, 31 points, 15 kills. And 7th place, the Dad & Co., the full console team, able to come up to 7th place or tying, losing likely on placements with 23 kills and 31 points as well. Well-rounded top teams here. Top 10 looks very good. Teams number 11 through 20, not necessarily bad. You might just had a bad day. But, you know, I saw some of you get a little unlucky out there. Tony Hawk Tua comes to mind. They got caught out between 4 teams multiple times. And that is just something that happens in BR. The ability to read that ring and where teams are going is generally going to be valued a little bit more than kills. Obviously, you want kills to make points, but you have to survive to get kills. So they are going to finish up in 13th place with 18 points and 8 kills. Team number 18, 3PI, not doing too bad. That's not a fall off. 19 points with 11 kills. Alley Cat not doing too bad for that team. And Team 8, Team 8 not doing too bad either. Kill the Sun getting another team that benefited from the swap over to Broken Moon, as they managed to pull out 12 total kills for 23 points. And at this time, I do believe the official Scrim games are over. I don't remember if they were going to try and do some fun games here, but it does look like that's going to be what is happening. But that is going to be it for the official part of the cast as we begin to try and cover some of and make sense of some of this stuff. Let's look at that last game 6. Game 6 presented a Southwest Ring and Foundry, as we saw at that last end game. So a lot of the teams in that northern, obviously, eastern corner, and then eastern corner had quite the few POIs to rotate through. We saw a team be mostly eliminated on the opening contest on Terraformer, and then a couple of other squads moved through, and we did see a full elimination. Surprisingly, not a ton of action happened on Quarantine Zone, as teams simply wanted to get out. Backup Atmo probably had the easiest rotate from the east side of the map, as they only had to go through cultivation. That side of the map, the south side of the map, not too busy. But as we got to the end there, we did see Squinty Squad really make a lot of really, really good moves. They were able to play from this little building right here, and then rotate out, and then somehow take advantage of a mistiming by Boom's team when getting on the roof, and an over-aggressive Boom drop in that end ring to take the win. Guys, that is some a really, really good play right there. Congratulations to all teams. And again, these are your last scores, your pick rates. I will post this in the chat if anyone wants to come and take a look at them one more time. These are public. You can take a look at these any time. Team stats 17. Damage dealt, damage taken. These are just really, really cool stats. And I don't need to keep making stuff up to talk. Thank you to the people that joined me today. I might go have some fun in a little bit here, just watching this next game. So the intelligent commentary is now over. But you may stick around if we just want to chat and go from there. As they are going to do a trios on Kings Canyon. Take it easy, Unstopped. Nice try today. Got a little unlucky, just like you said, on those rotates. You had some decent positions that were just kind of flanked out. And unlike on the other maps, this is no longer a scrim game, as people are free to land wherever they want. And it does look like we are going to see some immediate contests on Basin, as LFS and Pony going to probably go at it right away. This is just for pride now. Boomrazz are going to be down for the moment, but we shall see how this goes. Lifeline res comes in off of Sappy. And now Alley going to knock Tori. As Clickbait is promptly eliminated for trying to challenge our winners of today's scrims. That was interesting. And now Pony taking a little bit of damage from a punching Caustic. Hanky, that was just straight disrespectful, buddy. Oof. That's gross. I didn't need to see that. Looks like Hank just going to be content to only deal damage with this hammer in this game.
I could almost feel the upgrade coursing through me.
And it looks like the entirety of LFS is just going to play with their fists this game. Or it does look like a fist-only game. I'm sorry, I did not see the game chat, so I was not aware. But this should be a very, very interesting game.
Reckon it's time for an upgrade.
The remainders of G-Spot going to be content to hold up in bunker, which is prime Caustic. Squinty Squad thinking about rotating through here, and looks like they will attempt to, or at least check. Nope. Caustic canisters, not interested. Just gonna walk right around this.
The enemy stands before us.
Time now for the next engagement for Boom's team to deal with. As they're gonna have to work their way up from a low ground. Now we're taking an ultimate route, and the air nade lands 100 on a Watson, and just barely missing a stick. Is Kairu content to just try and run away though? 3v1, not very particularly easy to win when you're using only your fists. And now drawn into the action is Squinty Squad.
Enemy there.
Oh, narrowly missing the stick on Boom. Got a little bit of movement going on here. Fuse gets the Q stick. Oh no, and a snare. And Croissant Enjoy are going to get the knock on Sappy, but now taking damage from his own Q. And Moon going to have to hit a bat and try to do something with this. And now Croissant Enjoy are going to go down. As it is a 2v1 because Boom is up, and they are going to get the res on Sappy. Take a different look at this. And now Moon gonna have to try and run away from Boom Wrestle. Able to narrowly avoid the thermite. Uh-oh. And Moon gonna be eliminated by alley-oop. Blanc gonna go down to a thermite. So it's a 2v2. Oh no! Grace getting stuck for Meow. And now being only 1 health away. He's gonna have to just try and avoid the punch. And somehow does. Right until just there. And now Meow gonna be eliminated. By a duo, no less. Leftovers doing a great job to win that one.
Gotta be an upgrade.
I would like to provide some strategic commentary, but I don't believe that applies to this particular game at this time. It's people just running around punching each other. So, I'm gonna give your ears some peace and not talk nearly as much.
Medkit
Ted and Beth actually in this game. The casters. I'm surprised they haven't run into anyone yet. Good watch party, guys. Good watch party. LFS going to be in a little bit of a scrum with OPK here, although I'm not sure how Phoenix is wanting to approach this, because now Boom Razzle squad is showing up. This play might not goes for the finish. Alright, gets the break on Ali. Oh no, and now Georgie's gonna go down. That was actually rather impressive for someone playing on the mobile data connection. I cannot lie if I say so myself. Now order the Phoenix kit, trying to get a little bit of an advantage, vying for position, trying to see if they can't take advantage of the mispositioning and the over-aggression. And Sappy just throwing nades into their own Watson ult, as Hank looks to try and get away from all of this. Sappy, having none of that, is going to chase. It's like all three teams able to disengage, so they will just reset and go up. I guess go from there. Boom's team already with 10 kills. So there's no unfairness in this matchup at all. And it looks like G-Spot has been eliminated from the game. Yeah, playing the top of this with a full squad. We will see if they're able to do anything against Boom's team. As Hank looks like able to res his teammates, so now they are back in action. .3PI being forced to drop from height. Is Ali trying to knock the other Ali? Gets an advantage. One more. Gets one.
Time to refine my skills. What a love.
And Ali going to be able to recover the banners, but are there any spots left to really get a res? And I don't think there are. Not in ring, anyway. Is LFS being back up in business might have a second chance to avenge their two earlier losses. That is not going to happen for the time being, as Boom Squad continues to just raise through this lobby. Hank attempting to buy time and doing a good job doing so. As Bruce going to go down to the combination of Sappy and Ali. At least if that's a substitute, if that's not a substitute, but. Boom and Hanky trying to go out of here. As Hanky, the last surviving member of LFS, is gonna try to get away yet again. Beth and Grace Beth and Ted just content to like hide out for a little while longer. This is just turning into degeneracy here. And Hank actually gonna end up being able to get away yet again. And hits a bat. And now, with no guns in play, don't think this team's gonna drop off height to get him. Oh, but he does get stuck. But he does get the res off before going down. Ring's 23 seconds, still plenty of time to potentially reset. As he drops off the bridge, which is a little bit of a bold move, seeing as how the ring is going to move soon. They will have to go through this little corner pass. But nevertheless, Bruce is back in the game and able to get the res, as the team up top is not going to want to like drop from there. Team on height has a pretty good chance of winning this all. Or even in the next ring. So LFS going to be in a little bit of trouble depending on how quickly they can get this reset. .3PI now surrounding the A streamcasters. Is Danson just trying to get away, and he's going to go down to ring. That is unfortunate. Hank and Bruce able to actually reset. And now they're going to be content to just play in a corner and wait for things to come to them. It's coming down to the final ring, ladies and gentlemen. Final ring, the final game. That ring is finishing just below Bruce and Hank, so this should be very interesting. Sappy very nearly dying to a caustic gas. Hank looking to hit a Phoenix, and they'll be fully reset in their prime position to do things now. Sappy goes down, but in the chaos, able to get rest. Boom's team actually going to be eliminated. As Bruce and Hank might actually be able to pull this off. And they do! LFS gets a win for their game, for the final for fun game. And that is going to do it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Not much commentary on that last one, but boy, was it fun to watch. For those of you still here, I thank you for joining the official B Streamcast. And hope the graphics, the maps, and the stats, which I will link one more time for you to look at today's action summary, were a valuable addition to your viewing experience. Signing off, this is Cypher the Zero for ALBS, Apex Legends Boomtown Scrims. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all next time.